Welcome to your deep dive.
Oh, this is going to be good.
Today we're going to learn from this Roman emperor, Marcus Aurelius,
Yeah.
and we're using a children's book as our guide.
A children's book.
I know, right? The Boy Who Would Be King by Ryan Holiday.
Okay.
It gives you a really unique perspective.
That is unexpected.
It is. You wouldn't think.
Yeah.
But trust me on this one.
Okay. Well, I'm intrigued.
Okay.
A children's book about Marcus Aurelius.
Yeah.
What is that like?
Well, first of all, it's beautifully illustrated,
Okay.
but it really breaks down these
That's
kind
fine.
of big philosophical ideas
Go
into
ahead.
something that's approachable.
That makes sense, yeah. Because I feel like a lot of times
Yeah.
when you try to get into some of these like historical figures,
It can be.
it's intimidating. Like, where do
Yeah.
you even start?
Right, and this one is very approachable.
Okay, perfect.
So it starts out by talking about how Marcus Aurelius's
Okay.
real education
Yeah.
didn't begin in a classroom. He went to school, but he
Yeah.
was chosen as the future emperor,
Oh, wow.
and that's when his real learning journey began.
I see.
Yeah.
So like a trial by fire?
Yeah, like ultimate leadership boot camp.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a big emphasis is put on these mentors
Okay.
that he had.
Right.
These people that really challenged him to be a just and good person.
I see.
And those values that were instilled in him
Yeah.
shaped his whole reign.
Right.
There's this one picture of him as a young man.
Okay.
He's in this very stoic setting,
Okay.
surrounded by pillars,
Wow.
and contemplating the sky.
I love
It's
it's like setting the stage.
yeah. And it's like you can see how this philosophy is just
Right.
woven into his life.
From a young age.
Yeah, for such a young age. And
Yeah.
all this training that he had really impacted his character.
That's it.
But then you see this picture of him as a young emperor,
Uh-huh.
and he looks really overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because he's sitting on this massive, ornate throne,
Wow.
and he just looks
Yes.
so tiny in comparison.
He felt the weight of it all.
He did.
Wow.
He felt burdened by it.
You think about all the responsibility?
I know.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
That would be, I mean, I feel like in
Yeah.
our own lives we can
Oh, absolutely.
relate to that.
Yeah.
Like when you get a promotion
Mhm.
or a new project at work,
Right.
you're kind of like,
Or even in your family.
yeah, or at home, yeah.
Like when you start a family
Yeah.
and you realize, oh my gosh.
Yeah. This is a lot.
This is a big responsibility.
Yeah. And he was emperor.
Right. Of Rome.
Oh my goodness.
I mean,
The weight of the world on his shoulders.
literally, yeah.
Wow.
But it's a good reminder
Mm.
that even great leaders,
Yeah.
they start somewhere.
Right.
They're not just born.
I'm not bored with,
perfect.
with all the answers,
Yeah,
right?
they have to learn and grow.
Exactly.
Just like all of us. They face challenges. They have to
Yeah.
learn how to overcome them.
No.
And one of the things about Marcus Aurelius
Okay.
is he was willing to learn from all kinds of places,
Okay.
even unexpected sources.
Like what?
Well, like gladiators.
Gladiators.
Yeah.
Really?
There's this incredible anecdote
Okay.
about him finding wisdom in the arena.
In the gladiatorial arena.
Yeah, there's this powerful illustration
Yeah.
of gladiators fighting.
Yeah.
And right next to it is this quote.
Okay.
And it's attributed to Marcus Aurelius's teacher, Rusticus.
Okay.
And it says, even there we can learn how not to be.
Wow.
And it's a stark reminder
Mm-hmm.
that you can find valuable lessons
Yeah.
in unexpected places.
Right. You don't think of the gladiatorial arena as a place.
No, especially back then.
No, brutal and violent.
Exactly.
Okay.
But even there, you can
Yeah.
learn.
You can find something.
Yeah, and it challenges us
Yeah.
to look beyond our comfort zones. Be open to learning from anyone,
Okay.
regardless of their job,
Right.
their social standing.
Yeah.
And it shows just how open-minded
Mhm.
and humble
Yeah.
Marcus Aurelius was.
It makes me think about,
Yeah.
like, in our own lives,
Mm-hmm.
where are those unexpected places
Yeah.
we could be learning?
Yeah, that we're not even considering
Right.
because we're judging the source
Exactly.
instead of the wisdom.
It's about being open.
Right.
Yeah.
There's this other great example in the book
Okay.
that shows his humility.
Okay.
He sold all the palace jewels
What?
to feed the poor.
Oh, wow.
There's this powerful illustration of it,
Mhm.
and you can see the impact
Right.
that it had on people.
So he's not this emperor obsessed with luxury and power.
No, not at all.
He's putting his people first.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
He's committed to justice,
Right.
the well-being of his people,
And that was more important than,
than his own
wow.
wealth or comfort.
Yeah. He's leading by example.
Yes.
Really putting that into practice.
And I think it's a good reminder for us
Mm-hmm.
that leadership isn't about
Yeah.
titles
Yeah.
or status,
It's about,
but about the impact we have
yeah,
on others.
what kind of legacy are we leaving?
Exactly.
Okay.
So although Marcus Aurelius
Yeah.
was praised and honored,
Right.
his legacy isn't about statues
Okay.
or public acclaim.
Big tips.
It's about the wisdom he shared, the example he set, and the lives that he touched.
I love how that connects back to the book's title.
The boy who would be king.
Yeah. It's like he embodies that.
Right.
True kingship isn't about power.
No.
It's about,
It's about character.
yeah.
Serving something bigger than yourself.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
That's a good reminder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the illustrations
Yeah.
really show that.
How so?
Well, you see Marcus Aurelius as this small figure
Okay.
in these really grand settings.
I see.
Like he's dwarfed by the throne.
Mm-hmm.
He's lost in the marketplace.
Right.
He's this tiny rider
Okay.
observing wild boars on a hunt.
So he's always kind of like this
Yeah.
unassuming figure
Yeah.
going through all of this.
Navigating it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a cool visual.
It is. It's like those visuals are telling us that true leadership,
Okay.
it doesn't come from outward appearances,
Right.
but from inner
Yeah.
strength and wisdom.
I see.
So even though this journey of his
Yeah.
is set in ancient Rome,
Right.
it's still so relevant today.
Makes you wonder what we can still learn from him.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
His story gives us this blueprint
Okay.
for how to navigate our own challenges, lead with integrity,
Yeah.
and find meaning in our own responsibilities.
Right.
So even though he lived centuries ago,
Yeah.
we can still learn.
I'm ready to learn.
Yeah.
What do we got?
Okay, so we've talked about how his journey's relevant. We've
Yes.
talked about how he was open to learning from all kinds of sources.
Unexpected sources. Yeah.
Yeah, and we've talked about how he was a humble leader
Uh-huh.
who served his people.
Okay.
But we haven't really touched upon the philosophy
Right.
that guided him.
Yeah. Stoicism.
Stoicism.
Yeah.
And that played a huge role
Right.
in his worldview
Okay.
and his approach to leadership.
So maybe we should explore that a bit.
Yes, absolutely. Stoicism is definitely worth diving into,
Yeah.
especially in the context of Marcus Aurelius's life.
I'm ready.
Okay.
Let's do it.
So what's so fascinating
Yeah.
is how this book
Yep.
introduces these philosophical concepts
Mm.
without overwhelming the reader.
Right. Because philosophy can be,
Very dense.
yeah,
Yeah.
very intimidating sometimes.
But in this book, it's
Mhm.
just woven into the narrative.
I see.
Subtle,
Yeah.
but effective.
Yeah. And it's impactful.
Okay, so how do we apply Stoicism
Right.
to our lives?
How did he apply it to his life?
Yeah.
What did that even look like?
Yeah. What does that mean for us today?
Right.
Okay.
Well, for him,
Mm-hmm.
Stoicism wasn't about being emotionless
Right.
or indifferent.
Okay.
It was about training his mind
Mm-hmm.
to focus on
Yeah.
what truly mattered.
And what was that?
Virtue reason.
Okay.
Living in accordance with nature.
So if Marcus Aurelius were here with us today,
Oh, I love that.
what advice would he give us?
What would he say?
Yeah, in our crazy modern world.
I think he would say
Yeah.
that despite
Mm.
all of our technological advancements,
Mhm.
societal shifts,
Yeah.
human nature
Yeah.
is still
The same.
the same. We still face the same
Like
challenges.
just fundamental fears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That potential for greatness and folly.
Mm-hmm. And I think he would encourage us
Okay.
to cultivate our own inner peace
Go
and
ahead.
resilience
That's
by
right.
focusing on what we can control,
Like what?
our thoughts,
Right.
our actions,
Mhm.
and how we respond
Like,
to those external events.
okay.
So recognizing that we can't always control
Right.
what happens,
Yes.
but we can control how we react.
So true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's about taking responsibility for
Mhm.
our own inner state,
Okay.
regardless of what's happening.
Yeah. That's powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's recognizing that
Yeah.
true happiness and fulfillment, they don't come from external circumstances,
Right.
but from living
Okay.
a virtuous life,
Okay.
guided by reason
Yeah.
and wisdom.
So for Marcus Aurelius, what did that look like?
Like what kind of things?
Yeah. What were those virtues he was focusing on?
Well, justice,
Okay.
wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
self-control.
Right.
And I think he would urge us
Okay.
to cultivate these same virtues.
In our own lives.
Yeah.
For the betterment of society.
Exactly.
Right.
It's about being the change we
Yeah.
want to see.
Right.
And it brings us back
Yeah.
to that idea of the boy who would be king.
Right.
Because
It's a
that
bit.
true leadership
Yeah.
isn't about titles
Right.
or positions,
That's about.
but about embodying these virtues and
Yeah.
inspiring others
Right.
to do the same.
So it's like we all have the potential
Yes.
to be kings and queens
Yeah.
in our own way.
Regardless of our circumstances.
Yeah.
Striving to live a life of meaning and purpose.
That's really resonating with me.
Me too.
It's pretty powerful stuff.
It is, and it all came from
I know.
a children's book.
It's amazing what we can learn
I know, right.
from unexpected sources.
So what else can we learn
Okay.
from the boy who would be king?
What other insights does it offer
Yeah.
into the life and lessons of Marcus Aurelius?
Give me more.
It's really interesting, this whole idea that Stoicism is about recognizing what you can and can't control.
It sounds so simple.
Right.
But when you try to actually do it,
It's hard.
it is.
Especially nowadays.
It's like we're bombarded
Yeah.
constantly.
With information and pressure.
Yeah, and it's hard to know
I mean,
what to focus on.
what's important, what to
Right.
let go of.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's where Stoicism could be so helpful.
Okay, so how do you...
It gives you that framework.
Yeah, and how did Marcus Aurelius actually do it?
Well, I mean, he had a lot on his plate.
Right, he was emperor.
Yeah. He was dealing with wars and rebellions.
Oh, and there was that plague.
Oh, yeah, that devastating plague.
Things were not easy for him.
No, not at all.
So how did he use Stoicism?
Well, he used it to deal with all those crises. He
Okay.
was always making tough decisions.
It's like he was constantly being tested.
Right, and that's when his Stoic training was most valuable.
So instead of just,
Panicking,
yeah, we're giving up.
he stayed calm and focused.
How is that even possible?
Well, he focused on what he could control.
His reactions.
Right, so instead of getting overwhelmed by all the chaos,
Okay.
he channeled his energy into things that were within his power.
Give me an example.
Okay, so there was this military campaign
Okay.
against the Marcomanni.
I've heard of them.
Yeah, fierce warriors.
Yeah.
And things were not looking good.
Oh.
But instead of freaking out,
Yeah.
Marcus Aurelius took a step back.
Okay.
And he reminded himself of his Stoic principles.
So he was like, okay,
What can I do?
what can I control here?
Right. And he focused on those things.
Like what?
Well, preparing his troops,
Okay. That makes sense.
coming up with a good strategy,
Yeah.
leading with courage and determination.
So he didn't ignore the problem.
No, he faced it head on.
But with a clear head.
Right. And he was able to turn things around.
Yeah, that's impressive.
It is.
It's like Stoicism
Mm-hmm.
gave him this superpower.
In a way, yeah.
Stay calm.
It's not about suppressing emotions.
Right.
It's about channeling them constructively.
Okay.
It's like recognizing
Mhm.
that our emotions
Yeah.
are often triggered by our perceptions,
Oh, interesting.
not the events themselves.
So it's about...
So if we can change our perception,
Yeah.
we can change our emotional response,
I see.
and that's how we build resilience.
Okay, so it's about training our minds to respond to those challenges.
Yeah, it's like developing a mental muscle.
So we're not born with it.
Not necessarily.
We have to work at it.
Yeah, takes practice.
Even Marcus Aurelius
Even him,
had to work at it.
he had doubts and temptations,
Yeah.
just like us.
Wow.
But he kept coming back.
To his Stoic principles.
Right.
Wow.
It was his guiding framework.
That's pretty inspiring.
It is.
It makes me wonder, how can I apply this to my own life?
Yeah, what about you? Because, I mean, we're not facing barbarian invasions.
No, but we have our own struggles.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We have stress at work.
Relationships.
Yeah, finances.
All that.
All those things that can really get us down,
And it's easy.
get overwhelmed.
Yeah, lose perspective.
But Stoicism can help us with that.
How?
Well, it encourages us to ask ourselves,
Okay.
what aspects of this situation are actually within my control?
Oh,
What can I actually do to change it?
so like if I have a difficult coworker,
Yeah,
I can't control their behavior,
right.
but I can control
How you respond.
how I respond to it.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it's about shifting your focus
From what's happening.
to how you're reacting.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So instead of feeling like a victim,
You take back control.
I become the author of my own story.
I like that.
I love that idea.
Yeah.
Okay, but how do I actually do that?
Well, the book talks about, how Marcus Aurelius kept a journal.
Oh, yeah, meditations.
Yeah, that's it.
Isn't that one of the most famous
It's like a classic.
Stoic texts?
Yeah, and it's basically a collection of his reflections,
What kind of reflections?
like his thoughts about how to live a virtuous life.
So it's like he was
Yeah, reminding himself.
his own principles.
Yeah, like, hey, Marcus,
Yeah.
remember
Let's
this?
stay on track.
Yeah, and it worked for him.
Maybe I should start journaling.
You should try it.
Yeah.
It can be really helpful.
Okay. What else did he do?
Well, the book emphasizes his connection to nature,
Oh, yeah. Remember that picture of him as a boy?
looking at the sky.
Yeah.
He wasn't just posing.
He was fascinated by nature.
Yeah, and he saw it as a source of wisdom,
Oh,
and
okay.
it reminded him
Yeah.
of the natural order of things.
So it's like he was trying to align himself
With that order.
with something bigger.
Yeah, something timeless and universal.
Wow, that's beautiful.
It is, and it's a key part of Stoicism.
So it's not just about controlling our thoughts.
It's about connecting to something larger.
This is all making me want to
Yeah.
learn more about Stoicism.
Me too. It's such a rich philosophy.
And it seems like it has so much to offer,
Oh, absolutely.
especially for today's world.
Yeah, and luckily there are tons of resources out there.
So aside from meditations,
Yeah.
what would you recommend?
Well, for a modern take,
Okay.
I love Ryan Holiday's books.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of him.
He's got The Obstacle is the Way,
Okay.
Ego is the Enemy.
I'm adding those to my list.
Yeah, they're great.
Okay.
Really practical and relatable.
Okay, so bringing it back to the book.
The Boy Who Would Be King.
Yeah.
What else stood out to you?
Well, there's this emphasis on service.
Oh, yeah, that was huge for Marcus Aurelius.
It is like a core part of his leadership.
Yeah, he believed that true greatness
Hmm.
came from serving others.
It's not about power or personal gain.
It's about making a positive impact.
And that connects back to the book's title, because it's not about being a king in the traditional sense.
Right, it's about embodying
Yeah.
those qualities of service and leadership.
Leaving the world a better place,
Yeah, and I think we can all do that.
even in small ways.
Absolutely. Every act of kindness counts.
It all adds up.
Yeah.
So it's not just about reading about Stoicism,
Right, it's about living it.
putting those principles into action.
Exactly, making that conscious choice.
Wow, this has been such an eye-opening conversation.
Yeah, I feel inspired.
I'm too.
Marcus Aurelius,
But
man.
he was something else.
What a guy.
So what else can we learn?
Yeah, what else is there to discover?
From the boy who would be king,
More wisdom.
and from the life of Marcus Aurelius.
I'm ready.
You know, as we wrap up this deep dive
Yeah.
into the life and lessons of Marcus Aurelius,
Hmm,
I'm feeling kind of inspired,
I get that.
but also a little bit of a sense of responsibility.
Definitely.
Yeah, like we've
Oh.
uncovered all this wisdom
Yeah.
about stoicism and leadership and service.
It's a lot to take in.
It is,
Yeah.
and it feels like a
Mm.
call to action.
Like, now what?
Yeah, now that we know these things, shouldn't we be doing something with them?
It's easy to just talk about it.
Right.
Yeah.
But to actually live it,
Embody those principles.
that's the real challenge.
Yeah.
So someone's listening to this
Okay.
and they're feeling inspired.
They want to take action.
Where do they go from here?
Well, I'd say revisit the book.
The Boy Who Would Be King.
Yeah, reread it.
Okay.
Let those lessons sink in.
Yeah, and it's so beautifully illustrated.
Yeah.
Those pictures really add something.
And for those who really want to go deep,
Wow.
dive into meditations.
I've been meaning to read that.
Oh, you should.
What's so special about it?
It's like a direct line.
To Marcus Aurelius.
Yeah. To his thoughts and struggles.
Raw and honest.
Yeah. It's not sugar-coated.
Even though it was written so long ago,
Almost 2,000 years.
it's still relatable.
You'd be surprised
Wow.
how relevant it is.
Okay, meditations is going on the list.
Good.
Yeah.
There's tons of stuff out there.
For learning about Stoicism,
Books, podcasts, online communities.
okay, so it's really accessible.
Very accessible.
But the key
Yeah.
is not just to read about it,
Right.
but to,
Practice.
yeah, to actually put it into practice.
Well, get part of your life.
Make it real.
Yeah.
It's like taking these ancient wisdom traditions
Yeah.
and making them,
Relevant.
yeah, relevant for today.
Modern Stoicism.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Okay.
I want to leave everyone with this question.
Okay, hit me.
What's one unexpected place
Mm,
you could learn from today?
That's a good one.
Because wisdom can be found,
Anywhere.
yeah, anywhere and
I
everywhere.
think we're open to it.
It could be in nature, a
Yeah.
conversation with a stranger.
Right.
Yavian.
A challenging experience
Yeah.
that pushes you to grow.
It's about being curious.
Yeah, stay open.
Embrace new perspectives.
Never stop learning.
And maybe, just maybe, if we
Huh.
do all that,
Yeah.
we can all tap into that inner boy who would be king.
Create a better world.
Yes. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive.
This was awesome.
Until next time, stay curious
Keep exploring.
and keep learning.